And a great big hey howdy hey to all my goofy goobers out there. Welcome back to Animanic Commentaries with Kamikaze.
And C.Auzi+D.Fanatic. Hello, honeys.
Because tonight we are going to be watching the 2011 feature, Winnie the Pooh.
Not to be confused with the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Yes,
or Pooh's Grand Adventure. Or the Tigger movie. Or, wait, what?
Winnie the Pooh, Springtime with Roo. Pooh's Heffalump movie, which Pooh wasn't even, he barely even showed up for. Piglet's
or
big
the
movie.
New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Piglet's big movie, which Piglet didn't even show up for.
Okay, that's debatable, but
I mean, the stories were told about him like after the fact, but everyone was there talking about him.
That was kind of the point. anyway, we're getting off topic again.
Yeah, but all this to say that Winnie the Pooh, all of those movies that we mentioned, except for maybe Springtime with Roo and Pooh's Grand Adventure, theatrical release, and most of those were by the Disney's secondary and now defunct Disney Toon Studios, which is very interesting. It's very interesting. You'd see things like the Tigger movie and the Heffalump movie and the Piglet's movie, Piglet's big movie. I saw billboards for that like everywhere when it was coming out. It's like, so yeah, Pooh has had a long-standing amount of filmage to have in theaters. So obviously, if Disney were gonna do Winnie the Pooh, do another 2D animated film after the, you know, moderate returns from Princess and the Frog and the highest heights of Tangled, it'd be wiser then to try getting back into it again. And well, they literally had it come out the same weekend as Harry Potter.
It's a death sentence.
Even you brought reawakened the memories of the trailers that would parody the fact that Harry Potter was coming out around the same time.
Ding someone else.
There's this whole bit. It's like its adventure has a name, and then the building blocks look like they're spelling Potter without the E, and then he flips them around to spell Pooh. It's like, yeah, they were being cute, but it's like, oof.
Kids would go to this movie.
Yeah. They assumed the kids take their parents to this movie, but it was literally the finale of the Harry Potter film series, barring any spin-offs and stuff they're still doing. But like, yeah, no, the main story had finished, and so everyone was obviously gonna go see that movie instead of Winnie the friggin' Pooh. And honestly, like, it's not like I don't blame them. I mean, like, at the time I was not. I mean, at the time I wasn't really like in either camp. Like, I think the last Winnie the Pooh movie I saw to that point was Winnie the Pooh's last theatrical release, the Heffalump movie.
Meanwhile, I was prevented from seeing this movie because I was in Romania, and for whatever reason, they did not have the English version.
What are you gonna do? I remember growing up, I saw like the Tigger movie on a marquee, and I was like, "God, Mom, I want to see that." And then she was like, "No." I was like, but. So I never really saw it until like, you know, young adulthood. But it's like,
yeah, because Tigger movie was before the big overseas upheaval.
I have to imagine the reason she didn't want to take me to see the movie, she thought it would be way too bouncy and over the top. It's like Tigger movie. Oh, that'd be so obnoxious. But it's a really.
Does he know you? Does she know you?
Well, aside of does she know me, but also the fact that the movie is a little bouncy and loud, but it's also very, very heart-wrenching. But this movie is anything but. This movie is very, very just delightful and charming. It's like pretty much everything we had from Winnie the Pooh, except instead of telling like 4 separate stories, we're telling one 3-way interconnected story, as if this were like an extended TV special, which is not a bad thing. It just means that people going in with the expectations of a movie would probably be disappointed.
But yeah, and like with the original Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the stories were a lot more inspired by the actual stories that it came from.
That is true. Yes.
Actual stories by A.A. Milne.
Going back,
and you'll find some plot lines are familiar because they were used in either previous sequels or in the in the
the
spin-off
TV series, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but also the Baxon story that this movie adapts, particularly the catching of the Baxon to save Christopher Robin. It's like the saving Christopher Robin, they used that back in Pooh's Grand Adventure, but instead of being captured by a heffalump, he was captured. He was just held at the terrible Skull Rock. But like,
no, he was not captured by a heffalump. He was captured by the Baxon in the original story.
Well, the way we're working with it here, though, is we're kind of fusing that together with the Pooh and Piglet try to catch a heffalump story, where they set up a giant pit with a blanket over it and put a pot of honey. But of course, Pooh, being a very little brain, doubles back around to the thing and then falls in it. And then when he's in the hole with the honey pot on his head and he's calling for help, Piglet thinks he hears a heffalump in the pit. Of course, we do get a little bit of that. But it's like, that's just goes to show the way they're able to kind of like interconnect.
With Eeyore losing his tail.
Yep, and
then where it ends up
coming straight up from the book as well. Yeah. So they're adapting like 2.5 stories here and kind of putting them like just happening all at once, which is not a bad way to handle it. And the movie ends up even more charming for it, honestly. And also, I think this is like the first musical, and this movie is, if in no other way, just similar to the original Winnie the Pooh, a musical. The songs written by the Avenue Q team, who would then the Avenue Q duo, who would then go on to write the songs for Frozen a movie to come out a couple years after this one. So honestly,
what do you mean the first musical?
Well, this is the first musical for Disney animation that these songwriters did. I forget their names.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the first one for Winnie the Pooh. I'm like, what?
No. I mean, the songs aren't like your typical musical theater structure necessarily,
yes.
but they do fill the same way as they do in the original Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
the songs are just kind of
the power couple
moments.
The
power couple songwriters who would go on to do
Anderson
Frozen.
Lopez's.
They started here with the still living Sherman brother, at least at the time. I don't know if he's still around. God rest their souls either way.
Look it up.
But like Robert and Christian Anderson Lopez, that's right. Yes, thank you. And Christian Anderson Lopez, who was the voice of Kanga in this movie, and also did the mother in the first Frozen movie, just because she had so few lines of dialogue. But anyway, we'll get to Frozen when we get there. But right now, what's pertinent to mention is like, yeah,
M. Sherman is still alive.
God bless his soul. But like, anyway, the thing is that, yeah, it's like everyone's like, oh, well, they got the Avenue Q people for Frozen. They started with this one. I imagine they were probably working on both films at the same time, to be honest. But this is the one that did come out first by 2 whole years. So obviously Frozen was not slated to come out first. Like, despite the production hell it had been in, like, for a long time. Like, I think early 2000s or late 90s is, like, as far back
when it was still the Snow Queen. I remember when it's still called the Snow Queen, and it kept getting shelved.
I think you could trace the origins of this of the Frozen project all the way back to the late 90s, early 2000s. Some films just spend so long in development that it's like, it's a miracle if they ever do come out. And this one did. This movie, I'm not entirely sure what prompted them to say, let's do the Winnie the Pooh movie. Maybe they just wanted to make sure that they're because they dissolved the 2D animation department back when Home on the Range failed. That was Eisner's decision. They dissolved that department entirely. So they're probably just trying to build it back up and decided, okay, after the the like classic Disney vibe, or at least the Renaissance vibe that we tried doing.
Maybe this was like a practice run.
Yeah, this was kind of our filler movie to be like, all right, like, let's give them something small to work on and test the waters with what we can do in the future. And if the film does well enough, then we can really reopen the department. So I imagine it's probably still just as small of a team as we had on Princess and the Frog. If not, maybe just slightly larger, but then it's like, now we spent too much money on it, which, I mean, I imagine the money spent between both Princess and the Frog and Winnie the Pooh, budget-wise, between marketing and actual production time, is probably still much less than a single animated movie coming out today. It's stupid. Movies are too expensive, and people don't know where money management lie. But I think that's enough preamble, because like I mean I could be talking about the fact that it's Winnie the Pooh, but like the production and the end results of like the marketing and it's like the film did not do well enough, so Disney doesn't do 2D anymore. They don't. They did Mary Poppins Returns. They had to outsource the animation for that sequence. It's like, God, they don't have the resources anymore, and it fucking sucks that they just don't want to put the money behind having the resources anymore, especially when it's being shown to the receipts are there. 2D animated films, even if you're using paper, are cheaper. They're cheaper to produce.
Things taking a while to get to.
Yep. So everybody go ahead and get your copy of the movie ready. I'm gonna go ahead and do the get ready song. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready so we can watch the film. Blah 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 blah.
1 for the bunny, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go.
All right. Everyone get your copy set up, and we're going to go ahead and sync them here. You can already see where they're available up in the wuppity wup up up. And we're going to start this thing in 3, 2, 1, go. Turn the subtitles on. Well, we got our opening logo. An opening logo I probably won't be commenting on for a while, because of the fact that, like, by the time we get to the point of commenting on an opening logo, I think we'll have been, like, out of this decade already. What can I say? I think at least
Once we get to the 50 anniversary platinum thing.
Yep.
And possibly once we get to the 60th animated feature, at least.
You know, when Disney does do attention to detail, it actually does show. And like the attention to detail of like, I wonder if, because this does look at least close enough to the set that they would use in a lot of those films I mentioned before, like the Tigger movie and the Heffalump movie, and I'm wondering if it's the same set.
So a funny thing is, actually in the story, when he writes back soon, it really does look like Baxen.
Uh-huh. Yes, that. Thank you for reminding me, Scribe. Probably one of my favorite recasts in this whole thing. And there's a lot of good recast in this whole thing. Is John Cleese as the narrator.
Like, that was John Cleese, right? It's like, there are a lot of British narrators in this thing.
I mean, I'll be honest, like, because, like, I feel like he was a much better pick than the guy that they've had for such a long time. And it's not even like it was a budget thing, because they had John Cleese doing narrations on some shorts for the House of Mouse when they would have a cartoon on screen, but it required narration, like Mickey does Around the World in 80 Days, or Mickey does
and they finally add Tigger to the opening song.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, I mean, they did that in the Piglet's Big Movie as well, but yeah.
No,
they did.
No, they don't put his name in the song.
Huh. Weird.
You see him, you don't hear him.
Also on the topic of Christian Anderson Lopez, this is Christopher Anderson Lopez singing right now. It was a very nice voice.
What I was unsettled about is Christopher Robin's having whites in his eyes.
That is
it's so weird to me.
It's an interesting design change, but it's like, I think it's Zooey Deschanel.
Call back to the original.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Zooey. Yeah, it's Zooey Deschanel. Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Of course, if we're really going in order, it's more like chapter 50 something or other.
We've been at a lot of chapters there, Mr. Narrator. You gotta count the chapters from the first movie, and then you gotta count the chapters from the TV show.
Something I do appreciate about Winnie the Pooh is that no matter how many times we like reboot it with like a series or a sequel, the vibe never changes.
That is true. They do keep that it is in a book. Like, I had to imagine that was something that, like, we have to thank the people who worked on the original Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree short for that, because that's where this whole fourth wall gag was originated. Because I guess they wanted to create a tie to the...
Because even in the Christopher Robin movie, like, the characters just do not change. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm, of course, talking about all the Disney Ritter. I'm not talking about the blood and honey thing.
Yeah. All right.
Even his growling's the same here.
Yeah. Again, the attention to detail and the art. I'm pretty sure, like, again, aside from the animation being drawn pencil to paper, all the cleanup, coloring, and I'm fairly certain the background art itself, all done digitally, but they're all done to match the original. Like, you can see the way that the eyebrows, like, when they're staying in one spot, you can see how they look very scratchy because the lines are constantly jittering. Because they're recreating that Xerox effect, which just basically means that the cleanup artists just have to make it look like pencils outlines. Almost sketchy, fully.
You know what? I hear it now. Now I'm thinking of this will all make sense when I am older.
No, see, that's the thing. And I'll get to that when we get to Frozen 2, though. But love that he's hiding in the word. And they continue to do stuff with the words in this movie. And it's probably and because of the digital animation stuff they use in this film, it's probably the most fun they've ever had with the letters at all. I mean, we've already seen that they've done it, like, in the past, but they definitely do it a lot more in this movie, particularly.
The movements are also very, very fluid.
Yep. Again, I think, like, Glenn Keane and Eric Goldberg will probably be seen somewhere in the credits, because, like, they're the ones who are definitely gonna be the hallmark of, like, training younger animators to help with this, or, like, just part of the team responsible for the animation of this film. Also, one of my absolute favorite recasts is Bud Lucky as Ihor. God rest his soul. His voice just sounds like that. He's just speaking with a dour tone, and it's like, it works so well.
That's where that guy's voice comes from.
Yep. He was the narrator and writer of the...
Hat. That's cute.
Yeah.
File's been writing his memoirs since the beginning of this story.
Yep. So, very funny scribe. But like, yeah, Bud Lucky. He was the writer and narrator in the Pixar Bound short, and the voice of the clown in Toy Story 3, and Rick Dicker in The Incredibles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I thought you were gonna mention The Incredibles since you mentioned the short. Right.
Craig Ferguson is
they all have like the minds of 5-year-olds.
Yep. I think like, and Craig Ferguson does the character so well. It's like, yes, he doesn't sound anything like the original like voice, despite like some of the recasts for like TV shows and the other movies in the past. But like, he is great at the character.
I mean Craig Ferguson's like a pro at voice acting. He's like so many.
His character is on point. It's like.
And I love how nobody even considers recasting Winnie the Pooh. It's like, nope, nothing will happen to Jim Cummings unless he dies. So pray that never happens.
It's also just like, there's very few people in the world who can do it, you know?
It's a trailer moment.
I love this whole conversation they're having. And he uses the fucking pencil as a tongue depressor. The animation in this movie is also particularly funny. He's using a lot of
Is that even a word?
Yeah, it is.
Is that even a word?
He's using a lot of $5 words here.
Full definition. Folderol, trivial or nonsensical fuss. Well, what do you know? I mean, considering they make up. No, Tigger's the one who makes up words.
Folderol is probably along the same lines as balderdash.
No, folderol.
Folderol. Folderol is probably along the same lines as balderdash.
Now, it's no surprise Christopher Robin gets recast to death because
like, I mean,
his
voice is
young
his voice is a kid. Same with the Rue, like every time. I love that moment where they each have half of the thing.
And of course, Piglet, like, I'm trying to remember if it was the first time I remember there was someone other than John Fiedler.
Yeah, because I think we last heard his voice in the Heffalump movie, and that was the last thing Piglet was in, at least movie and TV show wise.
No, there was also My Friends Tigger and Pooh. Now that I remember,
which he probably would have been around for the first half of it, but then in the back half he had to be replaced.
I mean, he died in 2005, and that show came out like what, 2007?
No, yeah, you're right.
I love his the way his stripes still shimmer.
Yep. It's really the attention to detail to getting that Xerox penciled effect on it. It's like, and they've kept it really consistent. I think the only exception being TV shows, but like they don't have the budget to be doing shit like that for every episode.
Balloon
It'd
just
be too expensive.
Once again, we have a balloon being part of the plot.
A red balloon as opposed to a blue balloon.
Anywhere we please.
Yeah.
I remember that song from the sing-along tape.
And then he's just like... And also Jim Cummings' Tigger is like also pretty irreplaceable.
I mean, it was so irreplaceable that when they did have another guy voicing Tigger in the Christopher Robin movie, everyone was like, this doesn't sound like Tigger. So like, okay, let's just get Jim Cummings to do this again.
I would love to hear the original casting that they had in mind for that, because I want to hear what they would go with.
Well, he sounded a lot. He was a British guy, so I'm like, no, Tigger. I know it's a British story, but Tigger just doesn't sound right that way. Maybe I'm just biased.
Perhaps. Everyone is so mean to Eeyore. I mean, they're actually all kind of mean to each other. If anyone's ever actually read the book, which our brother has, and he's mentioned.
Are a very little brain.
They're all kind of. I mean, it's a British book. They're all pretty savage to each other. Again.
Close enough. Whoever's voicing Piglet.
Katie Sushi as Kanga. Yeah,
I mean, not in this movie.
No, not in this movie, yeah. But, like, I do, yeah. Travis Holtz filled in a few odd lines for Heffalump movie, took over the role permanently, My Friends Tigger and Pooh. So is that still him here? No, it is, yeah, because this does sound like that voice actor. But they did recast Kanga. They've obviously recast Rue, like, every now and then. And the narrator is John Cleese. I feel like John Cleese should be the narrator, like, just, you know, like with Jim Cummings, just be the character up until up until you're no longer able to play the character. Because like it's just he's so much better. He's such a good narrator voice. And honestly, I do think John Cleese.
A British guy is a good narrator voice.
Yeah, but I think he even sounds more like the narrator performance of Sebastian Cabot than the Sebastian Cabot sound-alike they had for the previous
David
stuff.
Simon Spires did pretty good in the Springtime with Rue.
Ah, that's right. And again, no offense
Can you
to
believe
David
that
Simon
movie is 15 years old?
I'm old.
And it's gonna be Easter soon too.
Yep. And we have the
Oh yeah, we
clock.
had that cuckoo clock in the beginning, didn't we? And like beginning.
Yeah, all the way back to the first movie. Yep. And this is such a delightful little melody that they just have going on here. It's Piglet. It's Piglet.
You know, why don't you guys like wait 5 seconds before singing your song?
Because then because if they didn't, they wouldn't have these funny little lyrics. Now I suppose I should call this out because I think Rabbit is about to start talking.
You know, Tigger's down in this group here. Probably like the closest we get to modernish jokes. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized a moose head. Remember the moose heads were put in the Winnie the Pooh ride after the Country Bears jamboree was dismantled?
But also, Pooh, you messed up my moose.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then Kanga wins.
Well, either way, it's still funny.
But yeah, no, that joke, the jokes they were doing there, those are definitely jokes that they would do. Like, they probably wouldn't have done as many as rapid fire, but that's definitely the kind of jokes they would do. And I feel like we haven't heard Rabbit's voice a lot yet, but as we go forward, it's SpongeBob. It is Tom Kenny, and he just is so pitch perfect playing Rabbit. Like he get like with John Cleese, I think he really.
You see him as SpongeBob. I see him as
Ice King. No, wait.
No, wasn't he in Powerpuff Girls?
Ah, yeah, he was the mayor and the narrator.
Oh, City of Townsville.
Powerpuff Girls, you gotta help me.
He was walking up to the next paragraph.
Yeah.
And a lot of my complete thoughts are short, as you've probably seen in my drafts.
Yep.
I think they work as their own, single sentence paragraphs work as their own thoughts sometimes.
Again, they really do play around.
Remember when this clip was released? You know, when they released some early clips?
Yeah. It's a lot of...
The animation is so smooth.
Yeah, and then he's grabbing on the letters. It's just.
It's like, and you know, imagine at this department of really talented animators that gotten to do something more. Look how good the animation is.
It's so good.
I hate long paragraphs.
The page is completely bare now. Where the hell is you are?
If I see a long paragraph going to me like can't you break up the thought at least a little bit?
Yeah. And I love that little toe to heel thing. Whenever they animate Pooh's tummy rumbling, it's always nice fun. Tom Kenny is Spyro. Yeah, he is Spyro. But yeah, no, Tom Kenny's just pitch perfect as this character. Kind of like Craig Ferguson. He doesn't necessarily sound like the original actor, but he's playing the character to the hilt. Just excellent.
You said it was under my nose! I'm sorry, it reminded me of Rocky and Bullwinkle, where the narrator said that there was a paper underneath Boris Banoff's nose, but he was sitting on it. God. He's like, you said this was under my nose!
Anytime we have a narrator, we can pretty much comment on this stuff. They just can't seem to figure it out. Ah, you're fine, Blue Heart. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Again, the carrot. don't even know why they drew his eyes so big there, but it's very... Go ahead,
I really want to like rewatch the book of Pooh now.
Here's the meme. Here's the meme now. The meme. When your mom is looking at memes on your phone.
Yeah, it's like,
and then
like, didn't we
puts it way up there.
Yeah, I was like, didn't we do this like a couple of movies ago, maybe?
Oh, we did it like, let's see, Heffalump, Piglet's Big Tigger movie, and then Christopher Robin, and then there's a bunch of TV ones. So we did this like 5 or 6 movies ago, actually.
I mean, it was the first movie since the first one, so.
It was the first one outside of the initial movie.
Okay, that is misspelled.
Yep. And the animation they do on Rabbit's facial expressions are always on point in this movie.
No, don't worry, this is nothing like the skull situation. Why do they have Al read anything anymore these days?
Worst of all, terribly busy. And then boink, grabbing the...
Beluga. I thought you couldn't spell.
He's bad at spelling, he's bad at reading. He pretends to be good at all these things. And here's where we get to have some fun with the artistic direction.
You know what? There's a commedia dell'arte character called Il Dottore who pretty... he sounds like Doctor. He's a guy who pretends to be smart, but he actually isn't.
Yeah.
This is a cool sequence.
And this song is very much up there with like Heffalumps and Woozles for being a really delightful like number about this beastly beast.
Also the chalk drawings.
Yes. They go like, it's like, take that Xerox stuff we're doing about the scribbly line art and stuff, now let's just apply it to chalk now. And they just have, and the designs are nice and simple.
I just realized you said like, everything I tell you is not made up. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, it should have rhymed to true.
Yeah.
It is on purpose.
It's one of those fun things you can always do in musicals when you know the expected rhyme and then you subvert it. Wait, did that book say Baxon's 101 destructive Baxon habits? Gotta read the name of that book later. Don't open till Christmas. And I love the simplified designs may have also been like, let's hand these to some of the newer animators and then have them work on this entire sequence, you know?
This is like racism against Baxons.
It kind of well, more like the Heffalumps and Woozle situation. He's just like a singular beast that can be like, it's like they all think things exist that don't exist. It's the poses.
Yeah, this definitely has the Heffalumps and Woozles kind of meter.
Yep, but a much more pleasant ending.
Okay, you know what? I hear the SpongeBob now, and plus he's yellow.
Yeah.
You know, if SpongeBob actually had a brain.
Okay, SpongeBob isn't like a one-to-one with Winnie the Pooh, but obnoxious. He's just childlike. And also, yeah, probably one of the reasons he sounds like SpongeBob is because he often sings as SpongeBob a lot, so yeah. And Tom Kenny's a good singer. Everyone here is a good singer.
I mean, they get voice actors like Craig Ferguson.
You get Craig Ferguson. You got Christian Anderson Lopez, who's doing Kanga. You've got Jim Cummings, who's like just a real talent overall. It's like, he's great. No.
Just a hint to the audience what's really going on.
Yeah, it's like, I also love how they obviously put in that search by the sun of the light of the moon line so that they could draw that joke there, and it's like, Yep. No. The dirt on the letters again. They're doing so much more with the sentences in this movie than they've done in any of the other shows or movies in the past. Because when you think about all the stuff they did do with the letters in the original one, it was like one little thing per like each short that was eventually turned into the full movie. This movie just, they go hard. Okay, Pooh. I also think they did streamline Piglet's design a little bit, like, or at the very least, they definitely like brought it back to a more flexible vibe versus like the more on model and stiff way they'd been drawing it in the past like few versions. So like it's nice to see him be really cute, tiny, and bad. Like he's minuscule. Like they've always drawn him a little too big in some of the TV shows and later movies. Whatever you say, Commander Peepers.
Yeah, this version of Rabbit's wild.
he has the most fun. Like, I feel like they did take Winnie the Pooh and like modernize it in the right ways. You know, like they made it peppy and snappy, and they made the characters a little more like they gave them a little more energy, but they never made them too over the top. Eric Goldberg is the animator for Rabbit. That makes way too much sense, and I'm surprised I didn't realize that before. Shink, shink. The sound effects are also perfect. And the music is perfect, too. Why? Absolutely no reason to go Raiders of the Lost Ark on this. Actually,
yeah, like,
I think one of those hand poses where he was doing the fingers up and down thing was something that the leader of the natives in Peter Pan did. So that's a nice little homage.
Keep it down up there, Poe.
Yeah.
A little stealth mode, if you please.
And hey, this is one of the few times in the movie we actually get to see like the lines down, the construction lines down the face. I think it was Glenn. I think it was that movie was after Glenn Keane left. Yeah, I mean he left the production of Tangled because of his health. So yeah. No.
I think we had this plot line in the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh at some point too.
Yeah, trying to turn Eeyore into his sidekick. Yeah. Which probably means that that episode was adapted from one of the chapters in the book, because I feel like this movie more so adapts stuff from the book. And it's like they do it for the movie because they don't know that they did it in the TV show already. Yep.
The hat now.
And this is also a very fun song. It's like, how many songs did Tigger have, like, initially, like... And I love that.
There are Tigger Rabbits chippers in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for that.
They definitely got that, like, married couple kind of vibe at times.
The odd married couple kind of vibe.
And he's bouncing into the lyrics. And then... Pay attention to that help there. It's gonna come back later.
Bud Lucky's not really singing though. He's kind of going with the speaking lines.
He did sing the last like I'm not sure lines, and he actually held the notes pretty well. He's got him all set up like he's fucking ready for a good day for a swell bout.
For what? I'm a little worried. He looks cute in that.
Yeah. I love how they're able to use this stuff in Rabbit's Garden, like...
But yeah, I can hear where, like, they get the Olaf for the next movie coming in here.
Yeah.
This feels like an Olaf song.
They definitely probably felt the Olaf, like, having the charming Winnie the Pooh vibes, which he definitely does in the first movie, which we'll get to.
Kind of is a Winnie the Pooh. He's like that innocent, naive, childlike character.
Yeah.
Not the brightest bulb in the attic, but, you know, you love him.
And now he's going around the tree, leaving his footprints, which is like in the snow, Winnie the Pooh and Pig looking around for the jugular. And once again, they're doing this. Actually, again, like with the jugular tracks, Pooh and Piglet thinking that their own tracks were that of a monster.
Eeyore, I'm with you. That's when I want to avoid people too.
I love this fucking anchor in the water. Like, where? Why? I don't care.
Oh, the final battle. That was another one of the Harry Potter parodied
things,
trailers.
And then
like,
it was all about getting a beehive.
Like, were you expecting someone else?
It was always about... It was always something else. Who's getting the brain activated? The brain cell is activated, and it just shut off. But yeah. Book of Mormon, that's the other show they did. Thank you.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I didn't realize how long it's been since I've watched this in full.
Yeah. And worst idea yet. God.
It's worse than I remember.
Bonk. You'll notice that
Was this really over 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2011.
Except you got their hive. You got their home. Come on, man. You got the bees home.
And we got the
How
bees.
about you pick him up and run?
We got the bees rendered out in CGI.
Oh, you know what? I hear the Ice King in him now, too.
Yeah. And there...
He's just got the same intonation with some words. I only watched maybe like a season and a half of Adventure Time, so...
But whenever you hear the Ice King's voice, you'll know it. It's like...
Yeah, at least with the recasting, they were smart to, like, at least for the most part, getting actual voice actor pros.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's, like, a mainstay among them. I think the biggest actor in this movie is fucking, like...
Jim Cummings?
I was gonna say John Cleese. Like, from the Monty Python days and shit. You know? But, like...
But, you know, John Cleese does lots of narrate... Yeah, like you said, did a lot of narration for Disney.
Yeah.
Honey?
I don't think she did that.
Honey?
I don't think she did that on purpose. Did you, honey?
Now this is probably as close to modern jokes we're gonna get.
That is a perfect visual that matches. Ah, God, the honey pot versions of the rest of them.
It got worse.
And then the words in the book. What am I telling you?
And John Cleese going, honey. Yeah, I imagine John Cleese going, honey, 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 honey.
And then the honey frog, like less disturbing than Honey Pot Kanga, much less. I'll tell you that. Honey Kanga, I only noticed that this time, and it's like, God, that is the worst one.
Yeah, probably the most closest we get to like a modern vibe, I guess.
But you.
I mean, you saw the way that wave was animated, right?
I mean, that's just more just animation technology taking over. But like him wearing the old-timey bathing suit and the Sherman Brothers aesthetic like vibe permeate in every song, including this one, is just what makes this movie feel just as charming as the classics. And the
Once again, I'm thinking that will all make sense when I am older.
I think that specific song definitely channeled some of that Sherman Brothers energy. Not sure why, but we'll get there when we get there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the eyelids as the thing, as the honey pot lid, and then the whale. and the animators get to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the...
There's the honey poo.
Yeah. And then...
honey, so I guess I'll eat him too.
That's a really good gag. I imagine, like, if this movie had been seen by more people when it came out, that probably would have gotten the biggest laugh out of the whole movie, because that's such a good gag. And, yeah. Snap back to reality. Whoop, there goes gravity.
Someone get him some food.
Poor guy. And once again, like the To Catch a Heffalump. Monk! And just like To Catch a Heffalump, Honey Pot stuck on his head. You know, now hearing Tom Kenny as Rabbit, I kind of want to hear his take on like Archimedes, like if they ever did more Sword in the Stone stuff.
Oh god, you're right.
It's like,
yeah.
Same voice actor, just have him do a slightly deeper register with the same nasally vibe.
You know, Archimedes' laugh is considered the best laugh that's ever been.
And Tom Kenny could definitely do that laugh. He's done a lot of... He's definitely got a ton of good laughs. And this is a great gag.
I'm with Charles. Okay, that's probably the most adult joke there is in this movie.
And then the way Rude just goes, send the pig. He's just done with everyone's shit. The animation is great. Here he comes back. He found this anchor over there. It's on my derriere.
Oh, yeah, I'm an Eeyore sometimes.
If that says nothing about, like... And again, the simplistic character designs being done in these little pencil-imagined moments. I feel like
okay, that's... So wait, you do like girls? Okay, I guess you're bi, pansexual.
And the facial expression on Eeyore here. This zip. Eeyore is the table... Piglet is the tablecloth on Eeyore's tail. He just... Or something like that. Here he comes. No.
This clip.
Yeah, this is literally a highlight in the movie.
It's so memeable too.
They got the
This is also one of the other clips that was released before.
Yeah. I mean, this whole like, this whole bit when they get up to the Yeah.
Just, yeah, this is also another one of those scenes that makes me very sympathetic for Rabbit.
Yeah. I love the animation on the characters in this movie. It's all so lively and energetic. Gwonk. And half the time, you're probably not even noticing when they're just tweening the same drawing.
Okay, Rabbit's tried so hard
so
not to
effective.
explode.
Yeah.
It's like me during swim class, like, oh, good try, but can we try moving our legs?
The dialogue about how long the book is also just really good. Now, this is where the clip, the online clip, would cut off because I imagine they really wanted to save their really incredibly well-written "Who's on First" bit for the people who would actually go and see the movie, and deservedly so, because
so here's an audio error.
It's so good.
Listen to the snips. Cut.
There's a cut for every single one where there should be one less, technically.
Yes.
There should definitely be one less. It's one of those cartoonisms, though. Yeah. And watching it with the subtitles is great. Because it's like... Because sometimes you'll want to know what they're saying.
Poor Rabbit.
The wordplay is so perfect, and I guess that's one of the great things that some Who's on First homages can do better, is just be short, get in and out, and tell the best jokes you can, and then cut the fat, you know, just like, and then Pooh, his head goes into himself.
Wait, don't you have an anchor down there?
I think and I'm realizing upon this watching, this part of the reason that Rabbit's design may sometimes feel off is because it's like the way he's animated combined with sometimes not being drawn with the buck teeth is like a little weird.
Okay, here's the moment that made me really slap my head the first time I saw this.
It's also brilliant comedy. Owl's like body language is always great, and him playing off of Piglet while the dialogue is going on.
Owl. Owl's the real villain of this movie.
He's definitely an obstacle to overcome. And well, I mean, what? Thumbs.
and I'm slapping my head again. I'm gonna break my skull at this point.
Everybody has one brain cell.
Owl is the villain of this movie because, you know, he misreads a note. He could have gotten out of the hole, and then when we get to the end, Owl's the true villain. I will die on this hill.
Yeah.
All the problems in this movie are caused by Owl.
This is another thing that musicals properly do. Like this, like I say, like, oh, this movie isn't necessarily a proper musical, but it's like they're doing things like Eeyore coming in and singing that moment of the song is like he's so done with this shit, but like, hey, I got a tail again.
Yeah, you're right, Squad. Rabbit is a
Piglet,
lot less of a jerk in this movie than he is some of the other projects.
I think it's probably because Jerk Face was definitely given over to Owl.
Yeah, Owl's a jerk. Evil Owl theory. Evil Owl theory. If I just But like I said, the more I watch the Pooh, the more sorry I feel for Rabbit, because he's the only one trying to be the grown-up around here.
Yeah. And then we have like Piglet singing the important thing to do song just to calm himself down. It's like it's a great moment. It's a great musical moment.
Why is everyone always pissed at Rabbit when we should be pissed at Owl? Because, you know, we hate the adultish character when we're a kid, but when we're growing up, we're like, wait a minute, this is the only guy that makes sense in this whole thing.
There's also a point to mention, like, Owl's original depiction was just a blowhard. He didn't really do much. Rabbit was definitely very much took action against people who, like, wronged him, like Tigger constantly bouncing his garden. Whereas here, it's kind of flipped around, where Owl is a blowhard, but he's also forcing it to be everyone else's problem. Down he goes.
Letters
And-
again.
I love the music here.
Poor pig.
Yes.
More
Down,
letters.
balloon, down.
And poor Tigger.
And where you'd think they'd probably just CGI the letters, because doing them from a three-dimensional angle, like they did with the bees earlier.
You're right.
They don't.
You're right.
They're actually hand-drawn.
You're right. Kanga is also another adultish character,
But she's the kind
but
motherly
seems
type.
but kind of leans towards stupidity in this movie. You're right.
She's a stuffed animal. All the stuffed animals are dumb, and the other ones are animals. They're not necessarily that bright. Yeah, that's sweet. And I love how they really do keep. I love how they keep Tigger has 2 sets of eyebrows, because that's always a fun part of his design. I mean, technically, you could infer that the other bit was. That the second set of eyebrows could just be.
I mean, owl. I know. Owl. Oh, you know, Owl's a true psychopath. He really just wanted.
And then the honeypot that was on Tigger's foot.
And the letters. And the letters.
And then she knitted herself
That's
some
what she was knitting this whole time. And so.
And then he tosses it in. Donk. And the word choices. The word choices to physical gags are always great. And the letters actually form that sentence. It's so good. It's so good. The whole letter thing was paid off. Penguin just running around. Kills me. The animation in this movie is so good. And the writing and the songs and the performances, everything about this movie is pitch perfect, and it was so.
I was like, didn't we do this already?
Yeah, but then
like,
you'd also
I'm
be.
never gonna be taken by bastions or skulls.
Yeah, but then you'd be wondering exactly what happened to Lumpy and Darby, you know? Like, everybody would be wondering what happened to those two. At least.
And then, wait for it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you literally caused all the problems in this movie.
Everyone's not. Robin's not sure, but he's sure it's his fault. He's sure it's Owl's fault. This is beautiful, and of course the animation's always so much fun.
Okay, this is unfair because Pooh did build that stepladder.
It is pretty unfair.
It's a balloon.
But it's also one of those things like where Owl found a house for Eeyore and Piglet was just too nice.
Yeah, like, what are we teaching kids, right?
I don't think we're teaching them anything. But
we're teaching them that
it is a funny note to mention, like, Balloon in this movie is red. He wasn't originally wearing red. He was blue in the initial appearance. And of course these guys would all think it's the same balloon. And Christopher Robin would play into that idea as well because they're his friends. That is such a
Eeyore
good
knows
line.
how you feel. You just
Ever
can't
have
win.
one of those days where you just can't win? If that isn't
I have
already
one of those days.
if that isn't already made into a meme with this image, like, just make it already.
Just can't win. I have one of those days. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
Please, it looks like sing from where I'm. Am.
The R being backwards doesn't help.
And
Hold
see,
up.
Owl literally causes all the problems in this movie.
Hold up. Why would I do that? Must be a British saying.
He's a pure psychopath. Because you know he literally made sure everybody was stuck in the hole so he could read his memoirs to them, and then he spends all that time trying to help Eeyore find a tail when he had it the whole time.
Well, no, he just used the time in the hole to finish writing his memoirs. But yeah, he did.
No.
I
I mean, he was like narrating to everybody, like, and you guys get to hear me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, Bella. Yes, Bella.
Pooh's got some brain in there. It's activated. His neuron has activated. The brain cell is awake. Off he goes. He literally pulled it off of Tior's behind. Bird brain is right, Bella. Pooh's also done with his shit.
Owl! 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 Yeah, this movie makes me want to murder owls so much, actually.
Well, stone the owls if it isn't that time of day.
I could forgive him for the skull thing because that note was drenched in honey, but this.
And let's be fair, Pooh's going through it.
After you've scrubbed all the trees in the 100-acre wood, then we can talk about mercy. Yeah, and that's why Owl is the villain in this movie. Yes, that is why Owl's the villain in this movie. You said there was no villain in here, but there is. Owl's evil.
He's a menace at least, a villain at most. Yeah.
I still want to murder Owl. Just bonk him on the head.
Yeah. And this honey pot.
I just happen to have this in here.
It's like a dream honey
no
pot
thanks
right
to
there.
you, Owl. Yeah, the Baxton ain't got nothing on the Owl. You're right. Oh yeah, there's that uncredits thing. We gotta remember that.
Yeah. I mean, we always stick through the credits just to talk about the movie and the animation and the story and all the people who are in the credits. And we get a reprise of this song.
Everything.
And hey, if I was gonna, I was
most.
earlier gonna compare, like, I was trying to find the words that it was comparable to the Winnie the Pooh, Time for Something Sweet song, as like, that also got a reprise at the end of its, short, when it wasn't a part of the movie, so it's like, yeah, it's like, it works pretty well.
Pooh?
Yeah.
Everyone gets hungry again.
Yep.
Just like at the end of the first movie.
Yep. They wander into the sunset, and that is so cute. It's just cute drawing there. And then as if
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if they should have gone with a theatrical release for this movie, because while it's really great, it's really great as a Winnie the Pooh movie. It's, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and it's like
I just love how they reenact all the scenes with the plushies.
smarter than you think, stronger than you know, braver than you realize. I flipped right around a little bit, but yeah, that's definitely true. Dawn Hall is one of the Disney
You're braver
story
than you
trusts.
believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think.
Mm-hmm.
I just love how they
And then
recreate
I
all
got
the
this
scenes.
chalk drawing of Baxon on the real chalk board there.
Kristen
and they're
Anderson
doing
Lopez
the-
and Robert Lopez.
Yep. And also look at that. They're recreating the scenes with the stuffed toys and stuff.
That's
Even
what I said.
Oh. I completely got lost in that when I was trying to form
I
some
said
words.
it twice, actually. In the ropes.
Oh, God. And Pooh in the giant pot of honey. And the owl and rabbit are actually figurines that look like a real owl and rabbit. I wonder if that's the canon in this world. You'd wonder
Yeah, well,
about
you know,
that.
keep in mind that this whole world is just a little boy playing with his stuffed animals.
Yep. And who would he really be playing with, a real rabbit and owl? Probably not.
Why not?
Well, I mean, like, they're not talking to him. That's not what those kinds of pots are used for. That might be the dirtiest joke in the whole movie. Anyway, but yeah, and the spoon
You're right.
and the saucer.
Goldberg, rabbit.
Yeah, Andreas Deja on Tigger. Ah, nice.
And on the books that have words.
The balloon stuck on his tail.
I do wonder how you get the balloon to be in that position and still enough for the photograph.
Probably got to just tape it to the floor. Or...
Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. The fact that I couldn't
Here we
recognize
go.
her voice, I'm so shocked.
She keeps changing her voice. That's a problem.
Mm. And then we get little animations over the credits as well. Casting by Jamie Sparrow Roberts, CSA, thank you. Bud Lucky, God rest his soul. Jack Butler, Travis Oates, Jim Cummings. Hugh Hauser is
He
the...
was like, I just want to get in there.
And Tigger just sneaks his way in.
Come on. Oh, that was sweet though,
Yeah.
right?
And here comes...
Tigger! Now, maybe Tigger is ADHD coded,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Of course, Disney Plus is recommending Bluey. Bruce W. Smith, the creator of Proud Family. Ah.
See? You're evil! You're spilling hot tea on our laps.
Even, like, actually, I'm gonna say into that note, yeah, that might also be a reason why this movie is so fucking funny, because, like, I've watched a good amount of the first season of Proud Family, just to do a little catch-up to watch the follow-up series, and you know what? Yeah, it's funny. So, and also heartfelt. And there's the fish with the honey pot lid eyes. Honestly, this...
What is that? It looks like a shark. It's like
a tiger.
close to a hammerhead shark.
It's a tigger shark, because it's got...
A hammer tigger shark. What?
And then...
What? It's like you
That's
know
cute.
when, like, back in the 90s they had like those mix and match books where
Yeah.
like the lower you could switch between the middle and the lower half. Like, I had a villains book that I eventually gave to the kids I babysat because they loved it so much. But you could have this hybrid of like Frollo, Maleficent, and Captain Hook, for example.
That's wild. Go.
Yeah, I showed it
Music.
to and I showed it to the kids I babysat,
And look,
and they
he's
just
doing the
kept
animated-
asking me to. They kept asking me to bring it, and eventually, like, you know what, guys, do you want it?
Robert
Here you go.
Lopez himself was going... Wah, 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 wah. That's great. I just gotta imagine when he and his wife are writing that song, and he's just there at the piano, and he's going.
Yeah, seriously, they finally add Tigger to the Deep in the 100-Acre Wood song after what, 60 years?
Yeah, it's been too long.
No, wait, hold on.
Hey,
60,
hey, partner animation,
no,
Yowza.
sorry, 50
partner
years,
studio,
50
Yowza
years.
Animation. So even on this movie, they outsourced. Why is Disney not willing to do more 2D animation?
look at all the Asian names there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of animation outsources to like Korea and China and all
Korea,
that.
Japan, China. Wanderer of Yonder outsourced to Canada and Ireland. So.
Because the Asians have still had their anime and stuff, so they actually have animation departments.
Honestly, I want to see a movie's animation where some of the animation team is listed to be from fucking Mercury Filmworks. Is their animation? You know it like when you see it.
Animation technology. Evan Goldberg. Interesting.
Ah. Because like
maybe they're related, maybe not.
Because Mercury,
see Japanese names.
Mercury
and
Filmworks was the name of the.
Andy Milne.
You almost wonder. Rabbit,
POOH
no,
names
Rabbit,
too.
no. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
looks like also some
Mercury
Eastern
Filmworks
European
did
names.
Hilda, Ghost of Melon McGee, season 1 of Wander Over Yonder. I love it whenever they move the credits off to the side just to do something.
Pooh babies! I love the way they do that. That's cute.
So great.
Francesca Channing.
But like, one of them was named Sebastian. Not necessarily for Sebastian Cabot, but you know, coincidence that it was a baby name for one of the babies born during the production of this film. So, but yeah, Ghost of Melon McGee, scene 101, Wander Over Yonder, and the entirety of those Mickey Mouse shorts that y'all know, the modern ones, the ones that were in the Runaway Railway rides influence human resources.
Yeah, you know, they do not make end credits this entertaining anymore.
They do it for like the first half, like what we saw with the stuff in the. And here we have the recording animation research library. Okay.
Caffeination. I love how the coffee guy is giving credit.
Oh yeah, no, the coffee guy is like a godsend at any studio. How he's dripping toward the ink and paint. In memoriam.
Dan Reed, an extraordinary artist whose talents, passion, and courage continue to inspire us all.
Special thanks to a lot of these people. See, the state of California and the California Film Commission. Ah,
And
there it goes!
Oh yeah,
There's
they had to credit the museums too because of all the Winnie the Pooh.
No stuffed
stuff
animals
in
were
there.
harmed in the making of this film. For purposes of copyright law in the United Kingdom, Disney Enterprises.
Carlos, the hero of the office. You're right, Carlos.
Yep.
Thank you for all the coffee.
As if we didn't already have a movie filled with great comedic animation. Here we get to pull a reverse of the simplified designs from the chalk drawings and pull it in the complete backward direction. Yeah. God rest his soul.
I love his voice.
And
I imagine he doesn't own a mirror.
I don't even think most of the people in 100 Acre Wood own a mirror, aside from Rabbit.
Well, I guess it worked.
And just bringing it all back around. And for a movie that clocks in under an hour, like fucking Dumbo length, this movie is. It's like, it's just as fun.
It's
you know?
it's a little over an hour.
A little over an hour.
Like
It's like
yeah.
a little bit, yeah. But it's such a delight. And the people who slept on this movie are now coming back to it, and it's like they're finally like, why did we sleep on this movie? Why did we sleep on this movie? It's
Fun movie. Also, yes, rest in peace, Disney's hand-drawn animation films.
Yeah.
Well, at least we continue to have 2D animation in the TV shows.
Yeah, in some of them.
Even the Tangled series went the round of 2D animation.
They definitely did.
And Big Hero 6, yes. Like the initially CGI stories became 2D animation in their spin-off series.
Yep. And Winnie the Pooh got it, not one but like 2 CGI series. So wrap your head around that one. But yeah, no. So that would be it for Winnie the Pooh. There's not much to be said. The animation's a delight. That's fun. If you want like a film that's fun for the whole family, where it's like it is hilarious. It's like it is absolutely hilarious, but the kids will also not be bored. It's like this is perfect. This is just perfect. Perfect family feature. You put it on for a short time. It's like there you go. It's like it's great. I love it. You love it. We all love it. It's a good movie. Winnie the Pooh will always be charming, and they can almost never fuck it up, you know? It's like, I think the times you could say that Disney ever screwed...
At least Disney cannot.
At least Disney cannot. It's like, I think if you could pick a time that Disney ever screwed up with the Winnie the Pooh IP, it'd be one time. And never again would they have ever done it on purpose. Like, it was like, they can't. They always win with Pooh, except to the box office. When it comes to this, they probably thought the same success that they would see with cheaper productions, like fucking, like the Piglet movie and the Heffalump movie. It's like those things were sent off to their Disney Toon Studio. Most of Toon Studio was like smaller, cheaper productions that were set to release on DVD, and I guess when they looked super good, they sent them to theaters as well, which is why Return to Neverland also got a theatrical release. But anyway, those questions pondering why this film did not make the money Disney was hoping it would make to completely close the 2D animation department completely, instead of saying third time's the charm. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But that's gonna be the end of this commentary here. Thank you all so much for joining us on this charming little adventure. And if you're viewing this after the fact, thanks for watching. Until next time,
TTFN!
remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you do. Good night, everybody!